is the Axle Shifter here, and I am back with the next Multiverse Wars episode number 57. And today, we have a battle between two cyborg guys, those being Alex Mercer from the Prototype game, and Rex Salazar from the Generator Rex series. So, I don't really have anything else to say here today because, this is pretty self-explanatory. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Let's go. Well, actually, for the record, we will be using Alex Mercer from the Prototype game, not anything else, like the comics, for example. Yeah, we're just going over Alex Mercer from the game. So, let's go. I'm ready. Alex Mercer is the main protagonist of the first Prototype game. He's a man who wakes up in a gene tech morgue with bizarre and horrifying powers, and no knowledge of any events prior to that point. And aside from his name, and he was once a scientist. Confused, enraged, and determined to reclaim his past, he sets out to do so by hunting down his old colleagues. Now, let's talk about his powers, abilities, and feats. For his strength, Alex was able to smash his way through a 2-foot steel door, and the standard size for a door is 203.2 centimeters tall, 91.44 centimeters wide, and 3.334 centimeters thick. But for this scenario, we'll be substituting 3.334 centimeters for 16.96 centimeters. The volume for this is 1.33 centimeters, and apply the fragmentation to 208 joules, and the result being is that 2.356 joules, or around small building levels of energy to perform this feat, making him very strong right off the bat. He's also seen fighting off tons of hunter enemies from the game, the same ones that can crush and explode tanks on just by jumping on them without even getting harmed in the process. Alex is also very fast, seeing how he can outrun even the fastest vehicles, including an AH-64 HK helicopters, M1 Abrams tank shells, and can turn around and block them at large or length ranges, which puts his reaction and combat speed at around hypersonic levels. But for his travel speed, it is subsonic. And he's also blocked a grenade launcher shot and can dodge and even outrun helicopter gunfire and blitz an entire team of security guards, further solidifying his speed. In addition to this, he is not even appeared to be harmed by the explosion of the apartment or anti-tank weaponry. He has even shrugged off helicopter missiles and tank shells, which I have mentioned before, and can withstand attacks from the hunter enemies, putting him in these small building levels of durability. There's also some notable attacks of his or different abilities he has, such as his claws, which are pretty much biomass shifted into 4-digit talon-like metal appendages that can be used to shred flesh and bone, and cutting both the infected and military in half just with a single sweep alone in some cases. And by shoving his hand into the ground, he is able to make spikes shoot from up underground at range, and with enough power to destroy tanks and toss them dozens of feet into the air. Next are his hammer fits, which allow him to pretty much form weaponry that are formed by exactly perfect for shattering both armored vehicles and infantry, and sacrifices speed and power for pretty much just destroying tanks effortlessly and turning humans into paste. Other abilities and weaponry he has are including for his abilities as a prototype anyways, are the muscle mass, which allows Alex's arms to grow larger and more muscular, the whip fist, where Alex's arm becomes more thin but a bladed-edged arm which can be used for quick rapid style attacks, the shield, which allows him to go for a shield-like object that nullifies incoming damage coming his way, armor, which creates a solid black carapace around Alex's body, heavily reducing damage that might come his way, adaptive hardcore, making him more agile and tougher to hit when it comes to catching him or even in close quarters combat, thermal vision, which makes Alex capable of seeing the infrared spectrum, which also makes him see enemies through obstacles and even operate even in complete darkness and smoke. The infective vision, which is capable of detecting the presence of the black-like virus in individuals, allowing him to track down infected targets easily and discern who is affected and who is not just by a certain glance. Now, this may not work all the time because some of his opponents I do mention don't really have the blacklight virus, but it is something worth noting. Next are the Viral Sonar, the Ground Spike Graveyard Devastator, the Critical Pain Devastator, the infected crater, and more. And even the involved form cannonball, artillery strike, bullet dive drop, ground shouter drop, adrenaline surge, and yeah, all of these make Alex a really tough opponent to beat and even more of a nightmare to even try to kill him in general. But even despite all of this, Mercer still has some weaknesses because if he does remain too low on biomass, he will be incapable of maintaining it in his evolved form, and he can also easily become enraged, but he has become avoided it. But once again, the less biomass in his body, the slower his regeneration will be. Plus, he will also not really be able to use the full extent of his abilities, or likely will not be able to, because another black-like shapeshifter has significant potential and determination to replace him at the top of the food chain. But overall, Alex Mercer's combination of shape-shifting abilities, superhuman strength, agility, abilities, and consuming powers, making him a formidable opponent within his world. Rex Salazar is the main protagonist of the Generator Rex series. He is a brash and rebellious teen gifted with the ability to maintain his humanity along with his Evo powers, meaning that he utilizes numerous mechanical constructs constructed out of the nanites, the things in his body, and allows him to move his body within his own will to combat the Evo threat and cure the victims of the outbreak whenever possible. Rex once stopped a space elevator, which was capped around 865 billion kilograms, or a moon-level strength feat. And though he could potentially scale higher because he was capable of matching the 5 members of the Constrium and was only defeated due to the resurgence of his memories. His speed is also pretty impressive too because he has outran, reacted to, and dodged lightning, and has maneuvered around it several times with the Boogie Pack and the Rex Ride, making him massively hypersonic when it comes to his speed, combat reaction-wise. He has even survived the nanite explosion, which would take around 617 megatons or island levels of energy to pull off. But his greatest power is his mind. Due to the fact that he is academically gifted and came from a family of scientists, he possesses great engineering abilities which will allow him to maneuver his way during battles. He could very easily turn the tide in his favor during a fight, and has shown to be very manipulative and witty. He can even adapt to even the harshest of situations, and he's also a very skilled acrobat and combatant, training with the special military organization called Providence, including directly under Agent 6, who is the 6th most dangerous man on the planet. Not to mention that Rex can disable machines and robots, and also held his own against the Biowolf in a one-on-one combat, and has many different gadgets, weapons, and abilities thanks to his nanites in his blood during these battles. These include his shape-shifting nanonites and his machinery, for he uses for both offense and defense, his smack hands, which are a commonly used weapon, with the weapon he uses the most, a massive pair of gauntlets that cover his arms. The smack hands give Rex incredible strength, allowing him to lift heavy objects, strike with incredible force, and launch himself high into the air. In addition, his hands are capable of rotating at high speeds, which Rex can use to add even more power to his strikes, and the drill through underground and propel himself under quickly through water. Next is the Boogie Pack, which is a jetpack with 2 large turbines that form out of Rex's back. These turbines can each launch 4 extensions attached to retractable cables and attack and bash aside obstacles or someone else. Next is the Slam Cannon, Rex Ride, Punk Busters, Big Fat Sword, Blast Caster, Funge Hooks, and more. All of these make him pretty tough to beat, and maybe even possible to beat if you simply don't have the weapons or don't have any powers, because, well, you're pretty much getting destroyed. Sorry about that. And even in the Ben 10 crossover special with Ben 10 and Generator Rex, he's easily capable of actually being on par with some of Ben's aliens when they eventually fought and defeating the villain of him in the end. But even a genius like him does have some weaknesses. While they may be minor, this can still hinder him when it comes to combating someone, such as his poor attention span, predictable fighting style early in his career, and manipulating too many machines at once can confuse him, and you could even exploit that to the point where you could possibly overwhelm and defeat him. His various machines also have their very own limitations, but yeah, overall, Rex Salazar's combination of unique abilities, combat skills, determination, personal growth, and leadership qualities, making a powerful character in the Generator Rex series. So now that we've gone over both of these characters, it's time I talk about who would win this fight. And both of these guys are pretty insane, and in addition to them being great combatants. However, only one of them can come out on top. And I would have to say that Rex Salazar would be the winner of this battle. And this battle is actually kind of sort of one-sided in Rex's favor. Now, don't get me wrong, Alex will put up a good fight due to the fact that he is more experienced and the fact he's also a genius too. But Rex just has so many other different abilities and weapons that Alex wouldn't really be able to fully keep up with them. Now, Alex does have his own very set of weapons and abilities due to the fact that he is also a biomechanical himself, due to the fact that he can create blades and sort of machinery on his own. But Rex just has a little bit more options to shut down or limit his tech, and that he will just equally outbox Alex as well eventually, due to the fact that Rex has his Smack Hands, Boogie Pack, Rex Ride, and more. And as I said before, Rex can disable or at least shut down robots himself. And also the fact that nanites are just more powerful than whatever Alex has. And there's also, in addition, we have Rex is just stronger than Alex in general due to the fact that he stopped a space elevator which was capped around 865 billion kilograms or moon levels of strength, far outclassing Alex's small building levels of feats of strength. And also, yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, as for speed as well, they are relatively equal with each other because they can react to like at massively hypersonic combat reactant speeds. But for travel speed, this is when it really just starts not really being fair when it comes to this category, because Rex has the Rex Ride, which moves way faster than Alex at his typical running speed, which is around subsonic levels. So it seems like this is it. Alex may put up a good fight, but Rex is just simply outclassing him in most other categories in terms of strength, durability, abilities, and yeah. The only real edge Alex has here is experience, but even then, and also a genius too, but yeah. Alright, so this is it. The end of today's episode. It looks like Alex is just going to have to be put in the ground after this one. The winner is Rex Salazar.